You set the whole thing up so you could paint him as a mass murderer and have him. Yes! Kazuma. Open your eyes. Ooh. Ryunosuke? You must know deep down. The truth can be completely obscured even when your judgment is only slightly clouded. But at the moment, you seem to be floundering through a dense fog. Yes, wake him up. Wake him to his senses. Is that why you were so insistent I should be present in this trial, to see you like this? Yay! And we've returned for more. Hey guys, welcome back. It's Light here. We've got Eugene on the stand here, and he's gonna tell us, well, he's been telling us about Clint's autopsy, and, well, first of all, he didn't see the ring when Dr. Wilson pulled it out, and also, if the ring really was in Clint, there should have been internal damage, and there wasn't, according to autopsy. So, yeah, so it's very obvious that it's been fabricated. Oh, obviously, we also accused Lord Strongheart last time. Maybe should have started with that. I knew it was leading up to that, I just knew it. Strongheart has been fishy from the start. Anyway, guys, I think we're on the cusp of the finale. Let's get to it. And there you've arrived at the sticking point. That's precisely why I had my doubts about the findings myself 10 years ago. Then why didn't you say something at the time? Oh yeah, and this guy is freaking broken. Oh man. I did. I still remember the conversation I had with Dr. Wilson in the laboratory that day. Look at this! Now this is a very curious thing to find in a man's stomach, wouldn't you say? But isn't that rather peculiar, Dr. Wilson? What's that now, Mikitoba? Well, if he swallowed a ring of that size, with those, sharp metal claws that it has, surely you'd expect to see damage to the throat and esophagus, torn mucous membranes at the very least. Dr. Mikitoba, may I remind you that I have vastly more experience than you. Excuse me? I'm terribly sorry. Aw, Eugene, you're too kind. I can think of plenty of ways to explain why no injuries would be seen. No, let's say this. The victim would appear to have ingested the item as evidence to identify his assailant. Go ahead, write it down. Are you kidding me? So I was right. Dr. Wilson deliberately fabricated the results of the autopsy to implicate my father. I'm disappointed, counsel. That argument is nothing more than speculation. What? Dr. Wilson was Britain's leading authority on forensic science and autopsy work. There is no scientific basis on which to doubt the man's expert opinion. I just... Pardon the interruption, my lord, but... damage to the mucous membranes of the throat is easily identified, even in living subjects. Using a device called an endoscope, recently demonstrated in practical use in France. I want one. Government can pay. I love this girl. I don't think so. And Dr. Gori, rest assured that your removal of evidence from the stores without permission will not go unpunished. He's just gonna wipe out everybody. You're gone. You're dismissed. Goodbye. Go away. You're fired. You're fired. You're dead. I'm like 99.9% certain that if we were to end the trial here, Dr. Mikitoba would be dead. We open up the dead to find the truth. Oh! I beg your pardon? My mama, she chose to stitch her corpses up with all her secrets inside. That's wrong. I love her. Oh my gosh. Dr. Gori, it's looking as though she's chosen to walk a different path to her mama. And this guy still has his freaking wine. Yes, the ring. What about the ring? I've just remembered something. An earlier incident. What incident? The one I recounted to you before. A better memory I have. Of Genshin Asagi saving my life. Right! What? My father saved your life? Oh my gosh. Poor Kazuma. It was 10 years ago on a foggy night. Genshin and I were walking down some back streets at a late hour. All of a sudden. Don't make a peep, you're coming with us. All of our assailants were armed with pistols, their faces obscured by scarves. The next thing I knew, there was silence all around. Genshin lay on the cobbled street. Blood was seeping from his left hand. He'd shielded me. It was on the ring finger of his left hand that he used to wear that ring. Is that why they were attacked, to steal the ring? That makes sense. Are you saying... I've always believed those thugs were after me. But now, I'm starting to question if perhaps I wasn't the intended target after all. Wait, but... Genshin was arrested 2 days after that attack. And in that short interval, the decisive evidence needed to indict him was miraculously found. You mean, the ring was stolen from him? You think that's what those thugs were after that night? That makes sense. Oh, it all makes sense. This guy needs help. You pathetic coward. You expect me to believe that you weren't involved? Kazuma, let it go. What do you mean by that? It was you, wasn't it? You're the one who took it. You stole my father's ring, Kazuma. You set the whole thing up so you could paint him as a mass murderer and have him... Yes! Kazuma. Open your eyes. Ooh. Ryunosuke? You must know deep down. The truth can be completely obscured even when your judgment is only slightly clouded. But at the moment, you seem to be floundering through a dense fog. Yes, wake him up. Wake him to his senses. Is that why you were so insistent I should be present in this trial, to see you like this? Yay! Oh, shut up, you. Well, this is an amusing spectacle. What a grandiose expression on your face. As if you were Lady Justice herself. It seems you've thoroughly convinced yourself of this alleged fabrication of the autopsy results. So much so that you're apparently blind to the blatant contradiction that would be born out of it. What? Though it's extremely hard to believe, let us imagine that there was some misconduct during the autopsy. If that were the case, why would Asagi not have disputed the findings in his trial? Oh. In the closed court hearing 10 years ago, the defendant never once denied the claims against him. Isn't that right, Lord Von Ziegs? Yes, that is indeed correct. Who was he protecting? Who was he protecting, Mikotoba? Upon hearing the verdict of guilty, he merely closed his eyes, quietly accepting the judgment. The actions of a man who has accepted responsibility for his deeds and is resigned to his fate. But then... Oh my, that is very strange. If Mr. Asagi did nothing to oppose the charges against him, then... That would surely mean there was no fabricated evidence. An obvious conclusion at which he should have arrived many minutes ago. Prosecutor Asagi, your twisted loyalty and clouded judgment are hampering your ability for logical thought. Ugh. Kazuma, wake up! Genshin Asagi's silence at his hearing can only mean one thing. There was no fabrication of evidence during the autopsy of his final victim 10 years ago. Or, hear me out here, he was protecting someone. But if that autopsy was all above board, there will be nothing to stop Lord Strongheart bringing this trial to an immediate conclusion. Objection! Yay! I hope. Thank you, Rinosuke. If it wasn't for your frank words just now, this trial may very well have ended prematurely. Kazuma? What's this latest absurdity, Counsel? My lord, your reasoning is perfectly sound, but for one giant hole. Yay! I beg your pardon? You claim my father's silence was due to the fact that there was no fabricated evidence. But there's another possible explanation. You've overlooked the possibility that he had a reason for maintaining that silence. Objection! Silence that would lead to him being convicted and sent to his death. If the autopsy results were an invention, there's no conceivable reason why the man wouldn't have protested. Objection! Oh, those results were an invention, alright? There's no question of that. Or are you forgetting that 2 people with a connection to that autopsy have been assassinated? Yay! If I force the grievances I feel from my mind, I start to see you in a very different light. I think perhaps it's you, who has been living in delusion these 10 years. Me? Kazuma-sama has created one last chance for us here, Mr. Naruhodo. If we can only show there was a reason for his father's silence in his trial. A reason why the man would have said nothing even though he was innocent. Could it have been part of some negotiation, perhaps? Enough rhetoric. The court must be shown evidence. What proof do you have that could possibly explain Asagi's silence in court? Only weapon he has left. Is it the papers? What else could it be? Oh, is it because negotiations will be oh, is it because he knew he was gonna escape? Take that! It's true that Genshin Asagi's silence during his trial resulted in his conviction, but that didn't actually lead to his execution. On the contrary, it led to his escape, an escape that was only possible because he'd been sentenced to death. Although I find it hard to believe my father would have negotiated in that way, the defense is correct. Fake execution, falsification of a death certificate, and a jailbreak inside a coffin. Clearly such an elaborate plan couldn't have been carried out by my father alone. He must have had the help of a collaborator from the judiciary. I have here the dismissal notice of the chief warder who was working in the prison at the time. The notes read, there are indications that the jailbreak was in planning prior to the inmate's incarceration. In other words, there were suggestions of some sort of negotiation between Mr. Asagi and the British government. In exchange for his silence in court, he was given an assurance that he would be broken out of prison. Yes, with that sort of clandestine agreement in place, I can imagine he would have kept very quiet. I would go further than that, in fact. I would say that the elaborate jailbreak of Mr. Asagi can be explained in no other way. Oh my gosh. Order, order. First fabricated evidence and now a jailbreak conspiracy. Okay? It's okay. We'll nail him down soon. It's okay. Just ignore him. Of course, because it's all intimately linked. Yay! The prosecution wishes to summon new witnesses to the stand. Witnesses? People who can testify about the jailbreak that took place 10 years ago. Ah! Governor Kaden and the poor chief warder of the prison. I won't allow this trial to turn into a farce, to summon the governor of the prison after all these years. Oh, it wouldn't be any trouble, my lord. What? Father? My dear friend may appear a little rattle-pated at times, but I can assure you he is extremely thorough. He wired both Barclay and the local prison earlier. Yay! Thank you, Sholmes. Asking Governor Kaden and Mr. Vigil to attend the Old Bailey as a matter of extreme urgency. Mr. Sholmes did that? Are you telling me that both men are, unless I'm much mistaken, waiting just outside the courtroom at this very moment? I love Sholmes! My lord, we must permit this trial to proceed as you declared at its outset. You promised that we would stop at nothing to uncover the whole truth behind these disturbing findings. Oh, I love how this is going. Take that! Very well. Bring in the witnesses. Make no mistake, I, too, would like nothing more than to lay this business to rest once and for all. You mean to cover up the truth? I mean, if it were up to him, he would have killed all of us right here, right now. That would have been him finding his truth. Ah, what a pair of witnesses in this stand. A crew of witnesses. Would the new witnesses state their names and occupations for the court, please? I, Barry Kaden, Governor of Barclay Prison. Everyone calls me Gossip. I sell jaunty little tidbits to passers-by. Your other persona, if you don't mind. Oh, I do beg your pardon, of course. Your other persona? That's so funny. My name is Daily Vigil. I used to be the chief warder at the Barclay Prison. The reason you've been summoned here to court today is to testify about the jailbreak of the so-called professor 10 years ago. Losh, the professor, we've already been through all this before, a decade ago. And the conclusion was that there was not anything untoward happened. A convict escaped from your prison, Governor. Hardly what you'd call nothing untoward. Ah, well. Convict's death certificate was somehow falsified after he was allegedly executed, and he escaped with the prison inside his own coffin. Escaped the prison. A plan of that complexity could never have been carried out without the help of somebody of influence inside the prison. Governor Kaden, don't imagine that the passage of time will afford you any protection. Oh. If it turns out that you were involved in the plot to break Mr. Asagi out of your prison, then of course, consequences will be very serious. In all likelihood, a capital punishment. Gads, hold on there, laddie. All I did was... Witness, Governor Kaden. Aye, sir! You have a critical role to play in the public safety of our country, a great responsibility to shoulder. Uh-huh. The significance of your testimony in court cannot be understated, therefore, think carefully before you speak. And Prosecutor Asagi, if you threaten to witness again, you will be held in contempt of court. Oh, shut up! Nothing he said was wrong. My apologies, my lord. There's no disputing the fact that an intricate jailbreak plot was enacted 10 years ago. Clearly, you were both involved in some way. So you will testify before the court now and explain exactly what took place. Very well. Let the witnesses give their formal testimony. Tell the court everything you know of the plot to break Asagi out of Barclay 10 years ago. Here we go. Oh boy. I wonder how many more testimonies we have. It was the day that Japanese jock was found guilty. The director came from the prosecutor's office. I assigned a convict to the chief warder vigil here and put the plan into action behind the scenes. I was responsible for Asagi right up until the night of his execution, but I knew nothing of any plot. I did not ken if there was some negotiations between the convict and the prosecutor's office. All I did was carry out my duty for Her Majesty's Great British Empire. A directive from the prosecutor's office? Are you saying that Are you saying that was a jailbreak plot? Aye, that's right. Who sent it? Who authorized that plan? I do not ken that. You're saying you don't know? How could you not know? Listen, there was not a thing about the professor case that was not unusual in some way. I did not ask any questions. I just did what I was told to do. More than that, I could not tell you. I see. But if the jailbreak plan originated from the prosecutor's office, then one thing is very clear. I suspected there were clandestine dealings going on between Mr. Asagi and that office. The jailbreak was promised in exchange for Mr. Asagi admitting to crimes he didn't commit. That, counsel, is nothing more than speculation on your part. Oh. Wait, what if it was like Strongheart needed the case solved for him to become the, like, what is he right now? The chief of the judiciary or whatever? What if that was promised to him if he was able to solve the professor case? So that's why he hurriedly solved it, and he used Zeke's to do it. Barack von Zeke's. He made the whole deal with Genshin. He's like, okay, admit you're guilty, we'll get you out, but just admit you're guilty so we can resolve the case. Huh. So, let me ask the defense. Oh, yes, my lord? I fail to see how these witnesses have any more pertinent information here. Do you intend to assert your right to a cross-examination? Of course! Absolutely. I have no intention of squandering a single opportunity, my lord. It seems all you Japanese are fiercely tenacious. Of course we are! Very well. Proceed, counsel. Alright. Should I press? Let me just go over what they said again. I guess I can press, right? Because I'm not sure if I have anything to present yet. Hold it! And you say you don't know who actually issued the directive? Aye, that's right. All I can be sure of is that it was official. But if this was from the prosecutor's office, that narrows down who could have issued it straight away. And it wasn't me. Can I even say with certainty that it did originate from the prosecutor's office? What? There's no telling where it started. There's a fair chance it came from higher up the ladder. Basically, I cannot give you any indication of who was behind it. You can't be serious. All we can say for sure is that the order must have come from somebody in authority, I suppose. The likes of us on the ground, as it were, do not bother with idle speculation. We just get the job done. But like, how can you not question when you get an order like that? How can you not question it, dude? Hold it! So, Mr. Vigil, you didn't know anything about it at all? That's right. My only role in the scheme was as a scapegoat. That's right, isn't it, Governor? No. Some poor beggar had to take the rap for it. No! Alright then. Who else did know about the plan? I have no the first idea, laddie. My part in the whole business was basically just dealing with the aftermath. But I would not be surprised if there were other folk in the prison service who had been given similar orders. So you don't know who else was involved? Aye, that's right. All I can tell ya is that the night it actually happened, the person at the reins was Dr. Stevens. Dr. Courtney Stevens? Or Dr. Scythe, as she's known now? Why did I have to get caught up in such a terrible business? Yep, understandable. Hold it! Did you not notice anything unusual happening in the lead up to that night? Oh, everything was unusual. Exception after exception. After all, it was the professor. The man had terrorized the country as never before with his crimes. In order to hide his identity, he was forced to wear an iron mask over his head. Hideous treatment. The fellow was surprisingly docile for someone who'd taken the lives of 5 of the country's nobles. Being the chief warder, I was the only person permitted to approach his cell. I can still hardly believe that I was duped by my own country. Ooh. I believe you jumped from the window of the governor's office when the jailbreak was blamed on you, didn't you? No. Gosh, Vigil. I cannot apologize enough. Stop. No, Governor. I don't believe you can. It won't change what's happened. Yeah, deserved. This is why you don't blindly follow orders. Like, what the heck? Now, what else can you tell us about the situation, Governor Caden? Well, you've already acknowledged that orders came from the prosecutor's office to arrange for the man's escape. There must have been some sort of negotiation. It's the only explanation. Aye, well, be that as it may. I didn't care nothing about that. The witness stand is no place for telling what you don't know for sure. I ken that much, I do. And I presume you also know this. Not telling what you do know is a criminal offense. Ha ha ha. So you were just following orders, is that it? I'm afraid that won't absolve you of guilt here. A man was still killed illegally, even if he was a condemned criminal. He may very well be found complicit in murder, Governor. So that's what it's to be, is it? Even with the threat of conviction, you won't break your silence. Oh... Did you carry out the plan in its entirety? Aye, I did everything I could at the time. As you know, Genshin Asagi was shot dead in Lowgate Cemetery after the escape. Tell me, was that part of the plan too? My instructions were to do with getting the Duke out of jail and nothing more. Cannot tell you not anything about what happened after that. Only, personally, I believe his death was the last part of the plan. Huh? Excuse me. Mr. Vigil, is something wrong? Dude, don't go shaking again. Yes, sir. What can I do for you, sir? He's saluting now? What is it? Some sort of Barclay convention? What Governor Caden was just saying seemed to upset you. Did it bring something to mind, perhaps? For the last 10 years, I've completely blotted out the memories of that time from my mind. I was betrayed by my superiors, in the name of my country. Ooh. Just as my father was betrayed, it seems. But you see, thinking back now, I really can't imagine that the shooting of Mr. Asagi in the cemetery was ever part of the plan. What makes you think that? Well, it just doesn't make sense, does it? to make the man admit to crimes that he didn't commit with the promise of a jailbreak, only to kill him in the end. That's treachery of the worst kind, but the point is, if the intention was always to betray him, why would there be any need for all the chicaneries of an escape? Ah. Yes, that's quite true. If whoever negotiated with Asagi never intended to keep his or her end of the bargain, it would have been far simpler just to let the man be executed in prison as dictated by his sentence. It all happened in that vast chamber of secrets that is Barclay, behind the high prison walls. Suppose nobody knows what really went on in the execution room now. Yes, it's an unsettling mystery, certainly. Do you know something? Uh-huh. Truth be told, there is a wee matter that's never quite made sense to me. If you believe there was some kind of negotiation behind the jailbreak, between Asagi and the body at the top, it does not quite add up, does it? Governor Caden, I must insist that you explain these doubts that you have by amending your formal testimony. Gods! Aye, go on then. Yeah, that's right, Strongheart. Seems to me that the Japanese fella didn't have nothing to bargain with. Oh. Is it what I'm thinking? I wonder. Okay. Guess it won't hurt to just present this, right? Alright. We won't know unless we try. Objection! Yay! Confessing under oath to murders he didn't commit on a verbal assurance of later being broken out of prison. Genshin Asagi was taking an incredibly risky gamble. Very true. There was nothing to stop the British breaking their word and executing him behind closed doors anyway. Under normal circumstances, no man would stake his life on a gentleman's agreement like that. Which means that Mr. Asagi must have had a trump card. Something that guaranteed he wouldn't be betrayed. Some kind of weapon. Avers! The fella could not possibly have anything like that. But you know that he did, Governor. The Asagi Papers. The name given to the last will and testament of Genshin Asagi. Ah! It turns out that Mr. Asagi was hiding his will in his cell at Barclay. Chief Warder Vigil caught him with it one day. You squealed, did ya, you wee rat? Dude, did I not tell ya to keep that a secret? Leave him alone! You can't touch me now. When Mr. Vigil caught sight of that will through the bars of the convict cell, Mr. Asagi pleaded with the warder. Alright then, but what's on that paper? My last will and testament. This will is the only weapon I have left now. A weapon? And after the convict had been killed following the elaborate pretense of the jailbreak, that document mysteriously disappeared, didn't it? Well, yes. All the prison warders searched through the belongings in his cell, but that will was just nowhere to be found. As I understand it, an exhaustive search was made for the document, which became known as the Asagi Papers. Governor Caden, I believe you ordered your prison staff to find it at all costs, didn't you? Eh? Would I be right in saying that you knew? You knew that the so-called Asagi Papers had the potential to make great waves somehow. James, what the blazes are you blathering about? The will was found, right and proper, in the fellow's cell where I said it would be. But how can that be? Where in his cell? We all searched the place, from top to bottom. Leave him alone! Why, you did not do a proper job, eh, you peely-wally galoot? You can't criticize me now. What is this, a comedy? I showed it to you before, did I know, yon lawyer? Yes, you did. I have the document here. It's written in Japanese and reads, "The Last Will and Testament of Genshin Asagi." Which means everything is as it should be. Not quite, my lord. You see, there's an undeniable inconsistency here. What? What inconsistency? Mr. Asagi described this document as the only weapon he had left. And yet this will contains nothing of significance at all, nothing that would have given the convict any leverage. Are you suggesting, my learned friend, that the last will and testament stored at Barclay Prison all these years is actually a fake? Oh my gosh. As has clearly been demonstrated already, what went on at Barclay Prison was far from above board. Oh my gosh. That last vilification by the defense was an affront to the entire British legal system. Dude, it's clearly obvious now your whole legal system is a sham, okay? So just sit down, be quiet, and let us do our job. This absurd notion of a weapon is something for which we have only the former Chief Warder's word. The man could quite easily be lying, or at the very least, sorely mistaken. Sit down, you clown. What? No, I definitely heard him say that, I swear. Clearly, we need to get to the bottom of this. We need to know exactly what happened with these so-called Asagi papers. A waste of time. If the will was fake, where is the real document? Objection. Mr. Vigil was stabbed in the back by the judiciary 10 years ago. He lost everything, very nearly his own life. Oi. And now you're going to do it again. You're ready to brand him a liar and turn your back on him without even letting him defend himself. It's clear that the Barclay Prison is hiding something. It's clear that the jailbreak was masterminded by somebody in the prosecutor's office. It's clear that some illicit negotiations took place. Is your lordship just going to gloss over these obvious stuff? Obvious and reprehensible facts? What did you say? Yay! We should hear more from the Chief Warder. Have him testify again. The trial must go on. The man's voice must be heard. Yay! It would seem that a vocal few here are utterly blind to the truth. Very well then. Let the witness testify again. Tell the court precisely what you think you saw of the convict's last will and testament. Yes, sir, my lord. Oh, man. Okay. As the warder responsible for condemned convicts, I attended to Mr. Asagi and kept watch over his cell. The night after he was found guilty in court, he was doing something with that will in his cell. We turned the cell inside out looking for it after the execution, but to no avail. I only found out about the Asagi papers when a directive came telling me to impound them. The document was in the folds of the fellow's robe that was left in his cell. A kimono, I think it's called. Is that so? And his kimono? That's a lie. We searched every inch of the man's cell. We looked through all his clothes. It can't be true. Well, you're not certified for calling me a liar once, eh? Yeah, weave my finger. Ha, there's nothing you can do about it now. You don't have any hold over me anymore. This is so funny. It's like he's finally vindicated. He finally gets a chance to tell him how he feels to his face. Other than to hold, you like to take on my cravat, of course. Is that what you're going to do, is it? Are you going to give me a good shake again? Or are you too scared? Little and large, what a double act. They should perform. They'd get a lot of money. We complied with Asagi's will as far as possible. All of his personal effects were delivered to his family home in Japan, as a courtesy to the homeland of the most notorious killer our country has ever seen. Why don't you get closer to Kazuma and say that again? And we were much obliged. I can confirm that all of my father's belongings arrived safely. Aye. And you cannot deny that handwriting is that of your old man, eh? Yes, there's no mistaking that it's my father's brushwork. Really? And this last will and testament was the man's last weapon, was it? I think we can safely assume that the convict was merely prattling, knowing that his end was nigh. Oh, go away! What if there was like a secret code in there or something? So, counsel for the defense, your cross-examination, please. Yes, my lord. Alright. Oh boy. Okay. Controversial, knife after found guilty, doing something without will in his cell. Oh! Let me press that. Hold on. He was doing something. Hold it! And he pleaded with you not to report him, didn't he? Yes, that's right. And like the bampot you are, you did not tell me. A blatant breach of trust, that was. I could see that the man had a noble spirit. I found myself wanting to treat him accordingly. But according to what you told us 2 days ago, the convict had been strictly forbidden from having any writing materials whatsoever. Yes, you're quite right. Ah, so when exactly was the will penned? That was before the man was remanded in Barclay, obviously. Yes, at the prosecutor's office under supervision of the relevant authorities. I personally instructed Asagi to make a will for the benefit of his family and his homeland. In that case, why was it found in his cell? What do you mean by that? Well, if it was penned at the prosecutor's office, you would have expected that it would remain there for safekeeping, surely. Ah! It's curious. There doesn't seem to be any obvious explanation for why it was subsequently found in the convict cell. Oh, well... The defense makes an astute point. Well, Governor? Present Governor cannot be expected to ken the inner workings of the prosecutor's office. In that case, Lord Strongheart, perhaps you can shed some light on the matter? I'm unable to offer an explanation here and now. What? I would have to consult with the notary responsible for the will at the time. The fact that my father's will was discovered in his cell is clearly inconsistent with what was expected. I want to know why. Another inexplicable mystery, then. See, this case is full of them. How the heck did people accept at the time? Oh, it's closed. No big deal. Well, the thing is about that will. Turn the saw inside out, looking for it after the execution to no avail. I only found it about... And that directive came from the same source as the one instructing you about the jailbreak? Aye, from the top levels of the prosecutor's office. What name was on it? I did not ken afore, and I didn't ken now. All I can tell ya is that my orders were to do everything in my power to find that document. The directive said it had to be somewhere inside the fellow's cell. Document? Was that the wording? Document, not will? Aye, that's what it said. Am I clutching at straws here? No! I just wonder if it was really Genshin Asagi's last will and testament that the sender of that directive was after. Nope, it was the document that was planted in the cell. Continue with your testimony then, witness. Hold it! In Mr. Asagi's kimono? Aye, the one he'd brought with him when he was locked up. Yes, he was permitted to have his personal effects with him during his incarceration, I understand. That's right, he was granted as much freedom as possible during the few days before his execution. Indeed, he had a number of items of personal significance, I remember. He was very reluctant to part with them. Some books. that kimono, his sword. His sword? Haruma, the famous sword of the Asagi clan. It bears the soul of my family. I don't doubt it, but I wasn't really getting at that. Forget it being the soul of the clan. Could the man have had a more obvious weapon? Have some respect, Minosuke. Respectful silence? The warders carry firearms at all times, and the inmates have shackles around their ankles. He could not have hurt anybody with that thing. Still, he was allowed a sword, but no writing materials? Aye. He wrote that well before he came to stay with us at Berkeley, you see? Dr. Mikotoba was asked to bring the necessary Japanese writing implements to the prosecutor's office. Scissori inkstone, black sumi ink, and some hanshi rice paper, no doubt. I was present when he wrote it, but I'm sorry to say, the letters just look like a squirming mess of jet black earthworms to me. See, I love that Vigil is here. Are you feeling faint, Mr. Vigil? He needs to stop spinning like that, though. I love him, but he needs to stop spinning like that. Mr. Vigil! Sir! It was Scarlet, sir. Oh, what was Scarlet? What? Oh! I'm terribly sorry. I didn't mean to blurt it out like that. Oh my gosh. Of course we had to have one last clown show to finish this case off. Less swaying and more explaining would be helpful. Is it something about the testimony we just heard? Have you recalled something of importance? Something of importance? Possibly. Or possibly not. Dude, come on, just say it! Unable to tell. I'm unable to tell which way he's leaning, I'm afraid. My lord, the defense asks that Mr. Vigil be permitted to supplement his testimony with this possibly or possibly not important detail. Permission granted. Go ahead, Mr. Vigil. Yes, it was Scarlet. What was Scarlet? As I remember it, the document was written in scarlet ink, but perhaps I'm mistaken. Scarlet ink, huh? That important? Where's Clint's? Recent scarlet stains. Oh! What? Why was the ink on Clint's hand? So, I'm guessing I present this? Scarlet-colored writing is what you said you thought you saw, Mr. Vigil. And I believe that's exactly what you did see. What? Havers again? You've no evidence to say that. Have a look at this report. That's my brother's autopsy report. Yes, and there's something in here that's bothered me since I first read it. It states that scarlet-colored ink stains were noted on the fingers of the victim's right hand. Yes, so it does. Scarlet ink? Now, I'm not familiar with the habits of the British aristocracy, I freely admit, but I would hazard a guess that they don't go around with ink stains on their fingertips, do they? You're... Oh, Zeeks. Your wit is not appreciated. My brother was a well-bred and fastidious man. Should ink have sullied his fingertips, he would have cleaned them immediately. What is your point, counsel? My point is this. Whatever Lord Clint von Zeeks was writing in that unusually colored ink, it must have been directly before his death, because he died before he had the opportunity to clean his hand. What? I remember something troubled me at the time. At the scene, the lid of my brother's inkwell was open. But Clint was punctilious about such things. It seemed unusual. and no document penned in the same color of the ink that was in the inkwell was ever found. So the document had disappeared. Are you suggesting that the document my father had in his hand that night in his cell was the same document that Lord Clint von Zieks was writing moments before his death? Then it was. Mr. Vigil's testimony is to be believed. It can only mean that, yes. Mr. Vigil! Sir! When you spotted Mr. Asagi with the document in his cell, his precise words were as follows, were they not? Alright then, what's on that paper? The last will and testament. This will is the only weapon I have left now. A last will and testament. Ah! If the conversation really did go as Mr. Vigil says, then what we now know completely changes the meaning of what Mr. Asagi said. You really think? Mr. Vigil did indeed see the convict with the will, but it wasn't that of Genshin Asagi. It was the last will and testament of Lord Clint von Zieks. No. What? Oh my gosh! I didn't even think of that! That's crazy! This is madness. My brother's last will and testament? That would mean that he had chosen to die. Wait a second. Did he ask Genshin to kill him? That is what it would mean, yes. No, impossible. That is utterly out of the question. Lord von Zieks. Take your emotions out of it, man. You have to take your emotions out of it. Clint was pursuing the professor. It consumed him day and night. Whatever happened, he would never have abandoned his investigation before its conclusion. Never. He wouldn't rest until the job was done. Until the killer was caught. The idea that he would willingly accept his own death. It's obscene. Objection. And yet we can be sure that he was writing his will moments before his death. And that Genshin Asagi came to be in possession of that document. So what could the will possibly have contained? Clearly something that couldn't be made public under any circumstances whatsoever. Because armed with that document, my father was able to negotiate with the judiciary for his life. It was something so damning that it prompted the powers that be to enact that daring jailbreak plot. Yes, there can be no question that the will contained information of the utmost secrecy. Information of the utmost secrecy. Ah! No, it couldn't be. Oh my gosh. I've heard more than enough. Sit down! Pursuing this notion of a phantom will nobody can attest to having seen serves absolutely no purpose. Objection. No, my lord, that's unacceptable. What did you say, counsel? The last will and testament that Genshin Asagi had in his possession was that of Lord Clint von Zieks. All the testimony and evidence presented to the court has logically led us to that as a possibility. We have a duty to pursue the line of reasoning to its conclusion. Yeah. But with no possible means of knowing the contents of the document, there is no line of reasoning to pursue. Oh. Oh, this guy is losing it. They're all losing it! A reason why Lord Clint von Zieks, a man of high noble standing, would have chosen death. Information so secret, people in the judiciary would be willing to negotiate the jailbreak of a condemned killer. The only explanation that fits those facts is an unthinkable truth that turns absolutely everything on its head. But it's just too hideous. Mr. Naruhodo. However difficult the situation might become, you work with your client in pursuit of the truth. That's what you resolved to do when you entered the courtroom this morning, if I'm not mistaken. Mrs. Otto. Aw, so hold your head high and keep soldiering on. I love her. Thank you. Yes, you're right. 10 years ago, in his final moments, Lord Clint von Zieks left behind a will. A will that Genshin Asagi was able to use as a weapon to negotiate his escape from prison. In all probability, the details in the will were related to the professor case. The defense's last statement is a mere conjecture. What are you getting at, man? Inosuke? Oh man, as soon as these words come out of my mouth, there is no going back. I believe that the last will and testament of Lord Clint von Ziegs was in fact... Oh... Confession? Is that it? If it's a confession of what? Don't tell me... No. Oh no. You can do this, Miss Naruhodo. I believe that what Lord Clint von Ziegs actually penned that day was a confession. A confession? Regarding the mass murderer known as the Professor and his true identity.
Objection!
Uh-oh. Enough, Council. What are you saying? Do you even realize? A confession about the true identity of the Professor. That would mean... No! No! Lord von Ziegs, I appreciate this must be hard to take in. But it's the only explanation that fits. The killer that terrorized London a decade ago and became known as the Professor. A man believed to have murdered 5 members of the aristocracy. Wasn't Genshin Asagi at all. That I knew for sure. No, you can't be suggesting. It was in fact the man believed to have been the 5th victim. No, Lord Clint von Ziegs himself. No, not good. Not good. Look at them staring at him. It's finally open, is it? Pandora's box. Oh, it's the box we were warned about. Great von Ziegs family, they've been something for years. And Lord Clint von Ziegs, he was a paragon of justice in the capital. But he was actually a mass murderer? A perpetrator of atrocities of the vilest nature? If the general public ever found out, law and order in this country would be abolished. My brother. Hold on. Would be finished, not abolished. Okay. They've been thoroughbreds of the British judiciary for years. Ooh. Oh, this is too awful. Poor Lord von Ziegs. But why? Why? I wonder, though, did he never suspect? Mr. Naruhodo? Lord Barak von Ziegs is a brilliant prosecutor. Is it conceivable that he didn't realize what his older brother really was? I think he might have, but he buried it deep, deep down, and that's why he's losing it so hard right now. Order, order, order in court! Lord von Ziegs. The professor made use of an enormous hound as his murder weapon. Tell me, did your brother own a dog? Yes, he did. Balmung. He was a well-known hunting dog. People called him a giant. No! I don't believe this. When my brother would go hunting in the forest of the grounds behind the house, he always took Balmung. After Clint's death, the creature passed away too, almost as if he were following his master. He was a magnificent hunting dog, worthy of the jewel-studded collar around his neck. Hound of the Baskervilles! Hound of the Baskervilles! A jewel-studded collar? That's right. Though sadly, some years ago now, it was stolen by a thief who broke into the house one night. A jewel-studded collar, stolen by a thief. It all connects! It all connects! Oh my gosh, it all connects, it all connects, it all connects! It so happens that myself and my colleagues have come across such a collar during our time in London. How could you? There is an old emblem attached to the collar too, made of pure gold. It was topped with a small crown and bore an ornate capital letter B. What? An emblem bearing the initial B? Oh my, you know it? It's the insignia of the Baskerville family. What? The Baskerville? Why is that name coming up now? Baskerville is the family name of my late brother's widow. That pure gold emblem was an heirloom, which Clint acquired upon their marriage. There can be no doubt then. The collar you've described was Balmung's. The family insignia of Lord Clint von Zeke's widow. There was a considerable amount of blood on the collar when we saw it. Since we know the dog was used for hunting, it could have been from its quarry, of course. But it could equally have been from human prey. So is it true then? Clint von Zeeks really was the professor? Impossible! These Japanese are making it all up to exonerate their own. I think that's what it said. Is that what it said? Yeah. Nice. So in fact the person responsible for these murders of nobles and royals was a noble himself, and that threatened to be an enormous scandal that would irrevocably destabilize British society. My father knew that, and he was using it to negotiate his way out of the unjust charges brought against him. But at the very last hour, those he'd bargained with him betrayed him, slaying him mercilessly on foreign soil. Oh, this poor guy. Well, can you deny it, Lord Strongheart? Oh, we'll find out what Lord Strongheart says next time! Oh my gosh! I did not expect that to be the turn this took! What the heck? I knew Genshin was innocent, but I was like... Huh. Because I was like, who the heck could have been the professor then? Now it all makes sense. Oh my gosh, Hound of the Baskervilles has finally been revealed as well. Oh, jeez. Alright then. Oh man. I don't even know where else this could go. Alright guys, that's gonna be it for this one. Hope you guys are having an amazing day, and I'll see you in the next one. We didn't end it this time, but we may very well be at the finale next time. Alright guys, see you later.